Welcome to our webinar with the title Employee Knowledge Assessment. It's the result of an MVP that we did for a customer. It's part of a series automating processes with Agentic AI. My name is Joachim Sam Haas, and I'm Director of Product Management. I have with me Basil Arafat, Customer Success Manager, who will lead us through today's presentation. And I'm happy to have you here, Basil.
Happy to be here, Sam.
For your information, if you have any questions, please put them into the Q&A section at the bottom of the Zoom app. At the end of this webinar, we will have time to answer them. Basil, please take over. The stage is yours.
Thank you so much, Sam. It's a pleasure to be with you all today and to give you a glimpse of what we see as the future. Today, we'll be showcasing the Employee Knowledge Assessment solution. It's the minimal viable product that we've received requirements for from a customer, as Sam mentioned. It is a product of our technology stack, which is our business process management engine, coupled with AI agents and using the local technology that we create solutions with. Just to have in mind, the solution that you're about to see was actually created in less than 2 weeks, which supports the concept of Ultimus that we're trying as much as possible to provide the product to the market in the least time possible. Today, we'll be using the cybersecurity knowledge topic to use the solution itself, but the topic itself is not just cybersecurity. It depends on the documentation that gets uploaded. And for Ultimus, we have limitless integration capabilities. So in regards to the large language model being used today, we're actually using ChatGPT, but we can definitely integrate with other language models that can actually provide other results or requirements depending on the requirement of the solution. Just to give you a summary of the solution we're about to show, the solution is actually targeted to the idea of providing employee knowledge improvement and assessment. And the topic of today, as we mentioned, is going to be cybersecurity. But depending on the documentation that we provide the artificial intelligence agent with, it tends to change. So we can change this topic as well, depending on the documents that we've uploaded. Now, the solution itself is a way to interactively generate quiz questions for the organization to take. Now, this quiz can actually be easily modified, approved, planned, assigned, and even executed, and we'll see this today. And the outcomes of the organization, we can actually see that in a very easy to use and interactive dashboard that helps management and people within higher level of hierarchy to take decisions in regards to the outcome of the people in the organization. So keep in mind, we didn't just stop there. We didn't just stop at generating quiz. We actually took it one step further, where the employee can actually ask the AI agent for domain-specific questions as well. Let's get right into the demo itself, and we'll be showcasing it through our DPA portal. So what you see in front of you is our DPA portal, which stands for Digital Process Automation Portal for short. And what you can see at the moment is Hannah Louise Miller's account, which is the knowledge manager of our organization. She'll be the persona that we'll be taking today. I don't sound like Hannah, of course, but she's going to be the persona we're assuming for today. So as we mentioned before, the knowledge base that we currently have within our organization is used to feed the documentation into the AI agent. So today we have 3 different applications we'll be visiting to understand more about it. But just to let you know, we'll be choosing the first application just to showcase the knowledge base. So as you can see here, we can upload different documents, whatever the document topic may be. It will help us then generate the topics and even ask domain-specific questions. Also, once we have the questions and we've answered the questions, we have the dashboard to help us understand the organization's performance. One of the metrics is the group completion rate, and that shows all the groups in our organization and how they've done. Also, we have the process map. Just for your information, the process flow itself will go through the first step being someone generating the quiz or our knowledge manager generating the quiz with the help of the AI assistant. Also, after that point, there'll be a new set of eyes will have a look at the questions just to make sure they're convenient for us and actually suitable to send to the participants. The last step would be just assigning a time for which the participants will be taking the exam or the quiz. Once that happens, they'll be notified through our robotic process automation Flowbot, which is workflow robot for short, through an email that gets automatically sent to their inbox to invite them to take the exam. Lastly, once they've taken the exam, we can see the results. The knowledge manager will be able to see the results, and they will be able to take action depending on the results when they receive them. Let's get right into the process itself. And as you can see here, we have the AI agent, or what we'd like to call the smart assistant. We have the chat box interface that we can interact with it. It's very easy to interact with it. And there are two ways of doing so. We can either type in the prompt that we'd like it to do. So write the topic that we're going to ask or generate the questions about, or we can deal with it as we would with a smart assistant in our organization and actually talk to it, ask for it to create the quiz in regards to a certain topic. So we're going to do just that. Can you please generate questions about the cybersecurity risks? And I'm not a native English speaker, but my smart assistant understands me perfectly. Within a couple of seconds, we're going to have a list of questions after the AI assistant has actually gone through the documentation that's in our knowledge base, and they will use that to generate the questions you see before you. Within a couple of seconds, we were able to get 10 questions that we can use. So we can even change these questions if we're not happy with them, ask the AI agent or the smart assistant to create more of them. But once we're satisfied with them, we can then thank the smart assistant and move these questions along so that we can choose from them. Thank you, I'm done. And we're thanking the smart assistant because it's worked with us for some time now and done a lot of work. And as you can see here, once we've done that, the smart assistant has moved the questions along to a more structured format with all the questions and their topics. And at the moment, you can either choose to approve the question, make edits to it, and you can edit everything within the question itself, whether it's the topic, the question, even the answers, and the correct answer, you can even define it through the interface of Ultimus. So here you can even see the correct answer just so that you understand the answer of each question that you have. And what we're going to do is we're actually going to select a couple of these questions to generate the quiz. Once we've done that, we can submit the quiz itself, and it will go over to the second set of eyes in our organization who will be approving the quiz. Now, for today's demo, we are actually going to provide you with something in regards to the questions already being answered in our organization, just to save on your time. And just at the moment, when we go into this step of the process, we can see that there are 5 different individuals in our organization who have actually taken the exam, the time in which they've taken, and how they've done in that particular exam. But let's say we want to understand how they've performed in a deeper analysis manner. We can then use the second application of today, which is the dashboard. So going into the dashboard, we can then choose to go into the campaign. First is the campaign itself, where we call it a campaign because it's a campaign for awareness. And here we can choose all the campaigns that have been launched within our organization and understand more about how people have performed within each campaign. Also, we have each user. We can choose to understand how each user has performed. And here it shows us every single user with their performance in each campaign. And we can view that in a more visually pleasing manner. Also, we do have the ability to provide a range for a date between 2 different dates. And at that point, we can filter out certain campaigns that have been taken in that date range. Lastly, we have the exam metrics, and here we have 3 exam metrics. First one being the group, which is the departments, different departments in our organization, and how they've performed. also we have the different topics, and this will allow us to understand where the areas of improvement in our organization may be. And the third current report that we can show, or metric, which is basically a comparison between each person within our organization and how they've performed in their overall campaigns that they've taken. What about the exam itself? What about actually taking the exam? How was that experience? So let's actually get into the experience of taking the exam. We're going to sign in with Sarah Wilson's account and actually take an exam for us. So as you can see here, we're greeted by the welcome screen for Sarah Elizabeth Wilson. We can see that she has an exam called Cybersecurity 101 with all its information. And we can see that she's doing pretty well, which is 75% in her last exam, with all the topics that she's taken so that she understands her areas of improvement and tries to find a way to even make herself better. So here going into the inbox, we can see the exam, which is Cybersecurity 101. Once we enter the exam, we can see that there's an exam duration, which is 103 minutes for questions. As you can see here, there is a countdown timer that will be going through the exam as we go along. When we start the exam, we have the question with the 4 viable answers that we've chosen to create in our first step. And we can choose each answer to the exam. And if I do well, I'll be very surprised since I'm choosing randomly. But as you can see here, we can make any changes to the answers we've given until we press on the finish button, which will then provide us with a report of how we've done. And it's expected I only actually got 1 answer correct. But at the moment, let's say we actually got only 1 answer correct. So the remaining questions, we can actually find out what the correct answers for them were. So this is in regards to the cybersecurity topic. So let's say I've performed poorly or I need to improve in the cybersecurity topic. So how would I do that? Well, we'd rely on the AI assistant once more, and that's where the third application comes in when trying to make our knowledge gaps even better and maybe even non-existent at some point. But there's always areas of improvement. So what we can see here is the smart assistant. And here we can ask it to provide the top 3 risks for cybersecurity. Can you tell me what the top 3 risks for cybersecurity are? Once again, I'm not a native English speaker, but the smart assistant still understands me perfectly. And in a matter of seconds, it was able to get the top 3 cybersecurity risks. And you can even ask it for the sources of these cybersecurity risks so that you can research them and even go through the documentation at any point needed. So keep in mind the current solution is actually, as we mentioned, it's the product of requirements by one of our customers. But the idea behind it is that it's flexible. We can tailor it to the requirements needed. And it shows how Ultimus and AI agents, when coupled together, provide a very seamless experience with the use of the DPA portal. That's it from my end. I'm move back to Sam, and we'll be taking your questions for now. And if there are any questions, of course, we'd be more than happy to answer them.
Basil, this was fantastic. Thanks a lot for this great overview. Okay, let me look into the Q&A part. So what do I see here? So, okay, I already have several questions. Okay, so the first question is something for you, Basil. The question is, can your AI agent support different topics for different departments? What about banking regulations or policies? Yeah.
That's one of the main topics that this solution is targeted to, since this particular topic tends to have changing regulations. So these regulations can be uploaded on our solution, and then it can actually go through the process of creating the quiz and even providing domain-specific answers to the banking-related questions. So definitely the solution is targeted to the idea of having more than one topic and not just cybersecurity.
Thank you. Okay, good. The next one is a question for me. Which large language models, which AI models do you support? Okay. As Basil already explained, the current solution is done on ChatGPT, which is a public available part. And we can switch between other models, like for our Chinese colleagues, we are using DeepSeek, but other models can also be used, but even private models, if you want to keep the data private in your environment. Okay, another question for you, Basil. Which languages do you support in your solution?
Well, at the moment, as you've seen, we have the English solution, but we do have it in Arabic, Deutsch, Spanish, and even Chinese, as we mentioned. So we're providing Ultimus in 19 different languages. So whenever there's a need to localize the solution for any of the languages other than the ones I've mentioned, we can definitely do that as well. So keep in mind, if there's any need, we'll definitely be there to localize the solution and share knowledge as well.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sal.
There is another question. It's more technical for me. Where can I operate your solution? In public cloud, private cloud, or on-prem? Yes, this is possible. So the current solution is operated on a public cloud, but as you're already asking, private cloud is possible as well. And we also have an architecture for on-prem installation. So all these different options are possible. It's up to you where and how to operate this environment. Okay, next question. Basil, how long would it take to implement and enable this solution for us, also for the customer?
Well, it definitely depends on the requirements, but as we were able to implement such a solution in only 2 weeks, as you can see, what you've seen as what we've categorized as a minimal viable product is almost a complete solution, but there's always areas of improvement. So we definitely can guarantee that the least time possible to create such a solution, we'll be able to provide it to our customers depending on their requirements.
Good. So I think, yes, these are all the main questions. Basil, thank you so much for this great overview. It was really a pleasure to listen to you and looking forward to see the next part of your series.
Thank you so much, Sam. It's a pleasure to be with you today and to be with everyone today.
Thank you. Okay, Basil. Have a nice weekend. Bye bye.
You too. You take care.